And I'm going to go this time, I'm not going to rely on anything. And I'm going to just establish some angles. And it's all about relationships at this point. So I could really just work on very simple forms, like, okay, what's happening with the shoulder? And what's the proportion of this? And that is this shape here. And then what's the proportion of the next major shape below it? Relative to that, it's always relative. So we're in essence, what we're doing is we are drawing, looking at this shape. You see things look kind of abstract and a little odd, but that's okay. And I want to do some plumb lines as well. So it's like, what if I do a plumb line here? I want a reference for this, so I'm just going to have that. Okay. And it's like, how high is the head relative to this shape that I've already drawn? So I have this shape. How high is that? It's like, well, it's roughly that height, right around here. And looks like if I use diagonals to help me position things. It's like, this is right, even though that's not part of it, this helps me position things. Their head is in the wrong position. The head is like, right, because of that plumb line, that really helps me. What's the proportion? So I'm trying to remember. It's like, okay, so this is the pant line. That's my, right? The blouse meets the pants. That's important. And then this would be the shoulders. And then there's this line where the crease of the arm meets. So the arm's going to be somewhere out here. And then the elbow is somewhere, this relationship, so it comes out a tiny bit and then it comes back in. And I'm looking for where it meets the knee, which is somewhere around here. There's the knee. And then where is this relationship? So I've got this, got that. I'm going to look for this angle. It's like, what's happening here? See that from this point to that point? That's really useful because I have established that. So I'm just going to put that in there. So that helps. And then what's happening with the leg? Okay. And the hand is somewhere about here, but I'm not going to put that in yet. I'm just going to go for the large masses. It's really important I establish, so that distance compared to this distance. It's like, okay, well, from here to here to there, it's like they're really close. So if I just do this, it's like, yeah, they're really close, a tiny bit more. So back to my line tool, thank you. And I said it was from here to here. I said it was a tiny bit more. So I'm evaluating that. I want to say it's, nope, I don't think so. I think I'm going to put that arm in just to help me. And I more like here. And there's this relationship. And then that. And then the leg. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna have to pull it out more because I don't have enough weight for this leg here. So yeah, it does come out more. Always reevaluating, always making a check the angle. This angle is not, see, this angle is, it's doing this. And I drew it like this. That's wrong. It needs to go like that. Okay, and I don't have enough room, so I need to increase the size of my canvas. And I could see it's like, yeah, I still got some adjustments. It's like, this seems too extreme, what I did in some of these areas. But it's like, okay, so what's this? What's the proportion from the top here to there to there? Right? It's not half, it's less than half. So that's be somewhere around here. And what are the angles? There's the hair where it meets, so something like this, something like this. Hand angle relative to this point here. So if that's that point, then I'm going to go to this point, and I'm going to say my hand is somewhere around here. Angle of the knuckles going in that direction, and it ends somewhere about there. That means the arm needs to come out a bit more. This seam's going to help a little bit. I think that helps some. And then we have some triangular folds. Seam of the pangine right here. And then some really strong creases. And then another angle that meets. Okay, so I need to establish, where is this mark that compared to everything else? Well, this helps. That helps a lot. So something around here. And we know it's like, okay, if that leg is correct, then the shoe is going to start around there. That plumb line, there it is, my reference. Okay, and then it's like, where's the other shoe comes? Like, okay, well, let's just see that. So it's going to be somewhere. Where's the shoe end relative? I'm going to draw a plumb line for that. Little off, let's move it over. There we go. So it somewhere ends right here, because that's it. The angle of the shoe is more like that. And actually it's lower than this, somewhere there. Oh, we have a hand I just noticed down here. What's it doing? I can't see it that clearly. I think I understand what's going on. I need to zoom in on it. It's hard for me to see. That's pinky. Okay. where's my tool? There it is. Okay, so this angle feels off a bit right here. It's doing more like that. And then the arm is here. Oh, this is really useful. We have a negative space, which I did not put in, which is the arm. That's about the right angle. And it does line up right around here. And then the hand, we have the knuckle. Looks like some knuckles here. Small knuckles, not major knuckles. Pinky coming in this direction. Another other fingers coming, something like that. Okay, starting to look okay. Yeah. These folds are really helpful. I want to put those in. Notice where it intersects right there. So I want to define this more accurately. That's not quite right. That's right. Fold is there. And then that, so the belt is like right around doing this. So just to clarify that. The pant button is somewhere around there. And then we have, you can tell it's like, it takes a lot of concentration to draw well. Wrong angle. I'm going to go from this point, this reference point, and I'm going to go up, and I want to get the right angle. Something like that. And then there's this other triangle. I'm going to get that angle. And then we have it breaks into other stress folds. Okay. Okay. And then at this point, it's like, okay, these proportions are pretty good. Everything looks a little too short, I think, compared to the head. I think my height was way off. So I'm going to do a major cheat and go to image or canvas size. I want to increase the size of my canvas height to 10 inches, 12, 13, I'll just say 14. That's more than I needed. And I'm going to so my initial envelope was off, the height was way off, and everything was based upon that original height, the width-height ratio. So it's going to throw some of my angles off by doing that, but the overall proportions are going to be okay. And let me get this so it's not interfering. So where do I go from here? New layer. There we go. I could draw on this layer. And then my brush tool, I would maybe knock this down quite a bit. I can just lock that layer. And here's where I would start drawing. And would make adjustments as I go too. It's like I could see there's a need for that as I progress. what started off as very geometric is now becoming very organic. I really want to buy a screen tablet so I can draw directly on the screen versus a tablet that's not attached to my pen. These angles are important. That angle is very important. These are not parallel. I just want to point that out. It's like if I draw this here and then this here, see how they're not, it's wider here and it's narrower there. Mine are a little too parallel. So I'm going to adjust that. I think this is the one that's off. And this one can maybe come in a little more. In the hand, come here, you. There we go. And the little subtle stepping that takes place with the fingers. I'm just going to draw the outside of all the little ones for now, just to get the basic shape. And then it's like, okay, where does the belly, meet the folds? And the folds are always a result of the form underneath. So what's happening? What's happening with that? And how is it influencing the folds? Okay. This is going to be a very long recording. I don't know if anybody's still here, but that's all right if you're not. It'll be useful.
No, this is super helpful though. Thank you.
Okay.
Agreed.
I was like, I don't know if anyone's here. You are. Okay. Okay, so notice this little thing happening there. And I do want to point this out. This is something beginning students don't quite notice. And these are so crucial when you're drawing. You really want to, I need a smaller brush, but I don't want to bother adjusting it. So there's this, and then this comes that way, and then this does that. That little piece there, add that little wraparound, adds so much believability to your material in your drawings. And there's this angle of the face, the angle of the face, that feels about right. I think that's about right. I'm going to say that that's there. Hopefully the proportions on my head they look a little small compared to the rest of the body, but I'm not sure. I'm having trouble seeing it right now. I think so. I'm going to make an adjustment. And the other thing I could do is like, okay, what's this distance compared, you know, that head, to measure it somewhere else. So typically I would take a measurement. I don't know if you can see me. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a measurement and then put it down. Where does it align? It's like I'm looking for some point of alignment or something that's similar in length. I think I found, no, it's not exactly the same. Okay, there we go. I found something pretty close. And you have to hold it in your mind. It's like, where is that point? Try to remember. Bottom of the chin goes to there to there. Okay. Bottom of the chin goes there to there. So if that's that point, is that the same distance as I have up there? It's not quite, a little bit taller. Okay, better. And now typically the eyes, if that's the bottom of your chin and the face is looking directly at us, typically the eyes fall right in the middle. And then another common measurement, and I'll get in closer, is if we divide that in half again, that's typically where the nose is. And then if we take this measurement and divide that, that's real common. And it's fairly close, but it's a good place to start for now. And I'm just going to suggest. I'm looking at relationships. Okay, where are the corners of the mouth relative to the eyes? Where are they? It's like, well, you know, you can see my plumb lines. I'm off a little bit. See that? It's like, or maybe this plumb line is not the same. It is not. It's off. So actually, I'm in the right spot. Okay, so, and where was I? Just throw in that bridge. Just suggest it. And then form corners of the mouth. I just want to suggest them as kind of like, okay, let's establish those. And you can notice how your mind wants to connect the dots, right? It's like, oh, there's a smile there, even though I didn't put it in. Where's the crease relative to plumb line? The crease is right above here and it goes that direction. And so this is kind of falling there. Changes angle, gentle curve, swooshes back out. Hair falls below the shoulder. There's a bracelet which could be useful for just reference. Necklace, excuse me. And then the neck lines up. It's not the edge of the neck. Part of it's being this, I'm pretty sure hair is blocking, or it's, yeah, see, it's getting diffused, but that might be the edge of the neck. And where does that fall relative to this eye? It's like, there's the eye. So that is pretty much where the neck is. It's like, okay, we know the shoulder's connected. I'm just going to put it in there and then see if it does make sense. Okay, so that does work. What's this general curve of this hair? Just simple geometric shapes is good for now. What's this angle? And these edges are soft, right? For now, it's just a good reference. We have, okay, proportions, I'm happy with them. So there's other things I need to put in. It's like, let's, and a little too tight on both of these. I want this to be a little less opaque at this stage. Thank you very much. This angle. Then there's this, and that, what does that line up to? It's like, okay, that lines up a plumb line. It's like, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. So that means my outer envelope was fairly accurate, if that's good. So I'm happy with that. Sometimes it's helpful just to draw a negative space. I'm just paying attention to this space in here to create this line, because it's like, okay, so it's something like that. And then it does this. And then the knee is coming in front and doing that. And then we have these other dynamic folds going on. This is going to be useful just for reference. Don't have to paint it in. How is this angle? How is that angle? Seems to get a little wider as it goes out that direction, narrower here. Must be some compression going on. And this position here relative to this, I'm looking at this angle and this angle. These folds, and I should know these by heart, and I'm forgetting what they're called right now. Anybody remember this one right here? Gosh, the corner of your sleeve. I should know this. Okay. It's a compression, but lock something, right? Lock. Yeah. And this, I got some angle issues going on here. That is not correct right here. That needs to be corrected. I think it's because I started too far over and it needs to come in more. That's about right. And then now that tapers. Where is this shoe begin relative? So I want to establish this reference here. I'll just quickly draw a reference line. And if that's that reference line there, then this is going, so shoe is somewhere here. And I need more space to see what's going on. What's the distance from here to here to here? It's almost equal. So, okay, that's easy. The other thing I could also go is like, okay, check your angle from here to here. Does that look like the same angle? About, I think it is. Yeah. Where does this line up? If I went straight up, where does that line up? Well, I knew that would come in handy there. So it's going to fall right around here. And also look how it lines up to that. Okay, so that's pretty good.
I have a quick question. Or
yeah.
two. So I'm having trouble fitting my whole subject on the canvas.
Yeah.
In Create, I don't know if you know anything about how to like edit the size of the canvas.
Is that what app you using?
Procreate. Because I
I
have,
wish I had it. I don't have it. I've got an old iPad and it doesn't support Procreate.
okay, I'll look up tutorials for that then. But
Yeah.
also, are we allowed to use the picture like you did to establish plumb lines in the beginning? Like kind of go over it or?
Well, what I did is, I don't think on this one I did. I think on this one, didn't I started from scratch?
Yes, but I meant just like, are we allowed to trace over the image before we like,
I'd rather you,
or not trace, but like
here's what I'd like you to do is um, work on the image and um, on one image, draw like I did here, okay? And then even in that point, it's like, you could,
mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to, I don't think I traced on this one, did I?
I don't think you did either. I just didn't
Yeah.
know if we were allowed to like use the photo that we had and go over
I'd
that.
rather you not trace, but I know it's really helpful to establish the envelope. So do establish the envelope first.
Okay.
Use a line tool that helps and do it on a separate layer.
Yeah.
And keep referring to, maybe you experiment on a photo and establish an envelope that way. And that practice will really help familiarize you with the proportions.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if we were allowed to go over the photo that we had taken and
I don't want, yeah, so I made it clear in the assignment that I don't want students to trace because you won't learn to draw if you trace.
yeah.
Your proportions will never improve. And the only way they will improve is these techniques of measurement, using angles, drawing plumb lines. That's the best way to improve your drawing skills. And here's the thing, when we work on our drawing skills, it improves our painting skills because typically as we paint, we have to rely on proportions as we're making marks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
That was really helpful.
sure. And again, it's like, okay, so where's my angle? What's the, I think, see, I'm looking at the width of this and I see, I think I need to make an adjustment somewhere, but I'm just going to go with what I have. It's like this proportion feels wider than mine. Mine feels more narrow. And I'm trying to see, where did I go off? Lines up there. It must be my overall proportion somewhere is off. So I'm just going to continue. And that's like a little bit wider, and then it kind of tapers back. And then what's this angle? Just a rough geometric form. That's all I want for now. You can put in those other details later. I don't think that's the right position for that. Look at, see this negative space here and this angle that's happening there. So I want to see that and that. I think, yeah, it's more like this. And what's the height of, like, from this, to that, to that. The angle, something like that. And then how far out does that go from this point, or what's its length compared to other objects that are similar in length? Okay. Yeah, so I think at this point I'm going to start putting in some more folds. And I want to get I need to familiarize myself with what's happening here. Looks like that's a little too high, these right there. They don't belong there, they belong lower. And I'm looking at this relationship right there. And it's like, okay, where's that compared to this? So that would be somewhere around here. Where's that corner relative to a plumb line? So going straight down from that over to that, that would meet somewhere around there. This is a type of drawing is emphasizing proportions, not so much expression. So there's limitations to working this way, but it certainly will improve your proportions. And I may want to put some things in the background here. I get to choose how I design it because these are very abstract images in the back. It's like I don't have to, you know, there's some interesting steps here. So I could choose to put those in here, which I think I will. And that is something I wish I noticed earlier, because I'm realizing now, only now, that her hips are higher than her feet. Before I made an assumption, oh, she's sitting on the ground. She is sitting on the ground, but her feet are lower than her hips. And this would have been this is a really good reference, actually, what I'm putting in here. If I had drawn it earlier, it would have helped me. Because it's, in essence, what it is the horizontal plumb line or reference point. And not perfectly level, so you can see it's like, you know, they're kind of, it's out in nature and those things aren't perfect. And it's a lot of things are getting blocked as well. I can't see a lot of things. It's like, okay, so we have a step right here. We have another step over here that lines up here. Another one, something barely kind of suggestive here. Can't really see things on the other side, but that's okay. Suggestive of, you know, a brush, or I'm not sure. I'm going to move this one. I don't like that in the corner there. But I'm going to keep it because I want it to do this. It's kind of like the movement of that. And I like this movement a little bit too, those little pieces. I'm not sure I want to go in that direction though. Can I cheat and just do it the way I want it to go? You can design it wherever you want. It is nature. Okay. I could start painting at this point, and I think I'll save that for another tutorial because I know this one's gone on forever, and I have no idea how long Zoom's going to record this. So thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Thank you. This helped a lot.
I'm glad it did. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.